I think the war's probably lost unless something really dramatic happens that has a unifying effect. And I'm not talking about what's going on over in Iran. That's for a different video on a different day, probably. I'm talking about this election thing and the information that can be drawn by those of us who've got an eye for what this is round here. A place like Gorton, like 5 mile away. It taps into something as to say, weren't so long ago George Galloway were giving me credit for having won him an election. Having seen an opportunity that he didn't realise was present. When he walked in, it was, yeah, you're going to win. And it's like, why? And it's like, because you can. It's like the election winning machine in Rochdale spun for George Galloway in 2 elections, and only a boundary change stopped him from retaining his seat. But the Labour election machine, you can make it do different things if you change the boundaries. The Labour election machine went on loan to the Green Party, and look at the result that it delivered. Right? And it's been the message from the start. It's like there is no actual representation of the Pakistani Muslim community in the political arena. There isn't any. All they get is Labour, and they're as pissed off with Labour as every other person in the country. Absolutely no different. Sick as, and it's been made by those who organise and try to bring together about the old Gaza thing, which is, they don't think of it this way, but I think it's spurious. I don't think you've got very much in common with those people. When white people are suffering abroad, I don't lose any. I won't go hit the street for them. Saying I'm not that way tribal as to people who I've never met. I don't go to bat and scream and shout. There's a great moral wrong going on. But it's like, it's extremely difficult to ascertain who's the good guy and the bad guy in any of these long-standing conflicts. It's like there's entries on all sides, on both sides of the account. So it's like, don't pick a side from that. What do you think you're doing? What do you think you actually know? And it's like those who are on the street, they don't know a great deal about what the history of the job is and what's actually been going on and what's really going on and other sides of the story. As to say, like I said, there's no good guys in this war. There's no side worth picking. Take the emotion out of it, and it seems quite obvious what might happen to me if the likes of you are tribal about this, want to push it further, want to keep enabling and encouraging those fucking idiots in Iran to try and play power politics as morons. Iran is not the centre of the world, although it has to be for their narrative to survive, doesn't it? Talk for a different day, probably tomorrow. But you see how this association, this way that it now works because of the numbers, they're all over the social media today. I stand with Iran, right? And it's like you've got even less in common with them than you have the Palestinians, the Iranian people. It's elite. Well, they're Arabs, aren't they? A nominally sort of secular country turned into a Muslim republic by force. Yeah, cool. They're all out on the Facebook today. I stand with Iran. Why? Oh, the Muslims. It's like, so you conflate the regime with the people who've been in the streets at great risk in that place to their personal safety to protest the government, knowing that the only thing they can do to make a difference is fucking die. Does that not mean anything to you at all? And it's like, well, of course not. They're not Muslims, are they? No, well, they're not Muslim people, are they? They're Persians. They've got an illegitimate government that's taken the country, and people say, well, it's more. We had a legitimate once, and it was overthrown in a coup, and it's like, yes. And the world spun and spun and spun, and 25 years later, it fermented into a student revolt, which was then hijacked by radical Islamists. So it's like, if you go back in history as to where the way that's been covered, it's like practically the entire lefty media of the world's been on the wrong side of that since the start of it, being used like puppets and enabled. And it's like, do we, as the civilized world, do we owe any kind of debt to the people of Iran to get them out of the shit that we may have indirectly put them in? But let's have it right, it is the middle of the Cold War, and everyone is playing games everywhere. And hey, people don't actually realize these days, do they, that that is actually a extension of our theatre of the Cold War. Go and just look at Iranian military equipment. It's all fucking Russian. People like to not think of it that way because it can't then be seen as a political move and becomes a religious one that then becomes protected under the umbrella of Islam. To me, it's just cut and dried comic tactics of the Cold War, but it's like a theatre of the Cold War that was never switched off. The money and the arms and the support and the intel from Mother Russia might have stopped rolling in, but other people were more than happy to provide it in their place, in their absence. See, this is a conflict as to where it's confounded the left quite deliberately for a very long time because it's a product of genius level Sun Tzu Soviet manipulation on top of all kinds of other things. Where did Egypt get that fucking huge army from? Not 10 years after getting their independence from Britain and becoming cosy with the Americans as their new business partner. How long did it take them to have a fucking Czechoslovakian and Russian made military with everything ready to invade Israel? How long did that? It was like, wow, that seems to have been a real turn of events. But people who talk up like Arab nationalism, people like Galloway, who'd seen Nasser as a hero, and it's like, he's a KGB man. Always pinko. He sold out his country and made them poorer and put them in a state, put it as to where, hey, the British have done a pretty good pretty good job of keeping this place cunt free now for a good 100 years. And suddenly, tyrant. Nasser, remember reading about him that he was, Britain sent over Anthony Eden to go and negotiate with him. Now, Eden, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the last great British politician and diplomat. Seriously. The last really good one we had. And Nasser decided he hated him. Why? Well, he spoke to him in his own language and sounded absolutely, perfect accent, perfect pronunciation. He thought he was condescending. Because the man was brilliant, he thought he was condescending and sort of decided he didn't like him and he was some kind of bourgeois type. And it's like, these guys are socialists. Socialists are raised to fear those who are more intelligent and of a higher station. It's like, oh God. You make this man a statesman. You know what I mean? You put him on the world stage and he's got a chip on his shoulder about fucking class and privilege and shit. Talks up slavery. Creates myths of slaves used to build the Suez Canal and stuff. It's not true. Workers did it. People at wage did it. And the best engineers in the fucking world for a very, very long time. at a massive expense built that thing. And that's not, and it's such a big deal. It's not just the British who poured just massive amounts of resources into it. So did the French and a private company. And suddenly you change its history to one that was built by exploited slaves. And you nationalise one of the most valuable pieces of private property in the world in the name of socialism. And the way, say, Galloway, another one, talk about Iran, he'd say, well, Iran nationalised the oil industry, but it's their oil. And it's like, yeah, but oil underground is fucking worthless. Nothing it's worth. Like those who come along and find it and pump it and refine it, it's like an incredible amount of investment. That is an incredible amount of private property. In fact, that's actually the most valuable thing in your country. And we built it. We fucking paid for it. The gear that we used, we had to import because you don't make any of it. Oh, we're nationalising the oil industry. It's like, you're going to get paid, you know. You're going to get rich off this. Just leave it as it is. No, we're nationalising the oil industry. Stealing what it back then would have been billions in, again, private property in the name of socialism. Do you think that gets answered? Coup. The democratically elected socialist president was arrested. There was a coup. It's like, you bet your ass there was a coup. That was the attempt of the biggest theft in the history of the world, done in the name of the people. Flat out theft, though. It's like there's repercussions for that. The powers of the world will not let that stand. But it's like you'll get all the lefties screaming, nationalism, nationalism, nationalism. Like it's a good thing for a country to seize another country's property. Realistically, it's more an act of war. What they call it, nationalisation, socialism, nationalisation, as if these are natural things that happen. The things that happened in Britain, a lot of industry, fucking hell, tons of it, because the war, in order to centralise production, they've nationalised loads of industries in order to streamline its planning. Nowadays, they wouldn't have to because they'd have computers, but back then they had to make more permanent sort of moves in order to manage. So, the quick answer for the British government in times of World War I and World War II was to fucking nationalise everything so that they were under their direct control. It's probably appropriate when you're at total war with another country. But I don't see the government ever giving any of it back until they started privatising it. We ended up with like a basket case communist economy because it was still based on a fucking war economy. It's like changes had to be made, but the wrong changes were made because of fucking idiotic Labour governments getting their, well, we just want peace and better this and that for the workers. It's like, you don't realise just how much money and treasure has been spent during that war and how much we're now looking to not to recoup our fucking losses. We have started to give shit away. We kept all the property, didn't we? We liberated the countries, but we basically kept the gold mines that we'd developed and all the private property. Because none of it was stolen. It was all in its own way either purchased or claimed in an amicable manner in a lot of respects. There's always exceptions, but hey. It's like people who think they know a thing or two about the history of that whole fucking region, right? Come and sit with me for an hour and I'll leave you gobsmacked at the things you do not know that you can write down and go home and look up and find out that it's a hell of a lot more complicated than you might think. And if you knew how complicated it was, you probably wouldn't have even engaged in it in the first place. You'd be like, oh, well, now I know a bit, I've got to know more. And the more you know, the more you come to understand this is a shitty mess. Get right to the bottom of it, and you'd be like, this is a shitty mess. I'm not picking a side in this. These people don't deserve or command any of my loyalty or benefit. But at any stage of the show, it's a matter of, right, do you know enough now not to pick a side? Okay, let's layer on another 20 fucking layers of shit. So I see out there people talk on the topic of, the old Israeli-Arab conflicts, and they shouldn't speak. They don't know shit. And it's like when objections hit by one side who've been indoctrinated, oh my God, all the defences in the world all kick in, don't they? Rationality goes out the window, and it's the clever way they merged communist totalitarianism with Islam and created political Islam. Because we're not talking about a Soviet-style fucking government, are we? We're talking about a religious utopia. For people who are easily fucking fooled. It's like I have to and fro's for someone I like to correspond with more and more actually recently is Vaknin, right? And he is, in his way, a historian, right? And he sees himself as, or would put him to, as he's been a government advisor before in certain countries, Macedonia, like. Smart guy. It's like his take on this Middle East sort of situation as it's unfolded, right? Absolutely, completely inaccurate, wrong, just wrong, just too much fear, too much trepidation, no real understanding of the kind of he's smart as fuck, Sam. You know what I mean? The information he needs to make whatever case exists within his head. Can make a case for either side easily. But it sooner get when it's close to home, if you like, suddenly his analysis becomes rather inaccurate as to where they were so long ago who were fearing for the existence of Israel. And I'm like, oh God, mate, how wrong are you here? You're miles off. And every stage of the war as it's developed, I'm like, yeah, man, it's like, this is kind of how I told you it was going to transpire, isn't it? Right from the very beginning. Yep. So he got the message today when an attack on Iran begins, and he's like, yep, you're right again. This is the outcome you said. Yeah. It's like, if you can see what was then in play once that big terror attack happened, if you realise what that had done and what it meant, I did immediately straight away when they reached for the old language. I'm like, fucking hellfire. Do you want a lesson in war? Do you want a lesson in war? Do you want a lesson in 21st century Sun Tzu? Well, that's what you're going to get. And we've been fucking thinking about this and working towards it for years. And we've already got war plans to tear you apart, all of you. And that old 20-minute turnaround time on our jet sorties, that we still do that. And because of the size of the territory, our jets can be fucking everywhere. We got an air force of like 300 planes active, but they seem like you're up against an air force of fucking thousands because they're coming from not far away and they're not on the ground. Hot seat pilot, you pilot out, right, shift over, go and get yourself a few beers and a sleep. Someone else carries on flying the plane. Bomb, bomb, bomb. I need a piss. They do that well. They know what they've long since discovered what the key elements of desert power are, or war in that part of the world. Once upon a time, it was the tank and the support soldier. You know, the tank unit, but heavily geared towards the tank and the good armored personnel carrier vehicles where tanks rule the desert because of the you get to the best firing positions first and things like that. It's all been worked out years ago how to defend this territory because so many wars have been fought on it. So for a long time, the weapon that will get you through was the tank. And there was a transition. The Israeli Air Force have always been very powerful, but there was a transition at a certain stage where it's like advancements in all nature of technology has made it so the jet fighter is just a way of dropping a real fucking heavy payload of weapons. And half the job be done these days by drones and just very, very good guns. War look like just a lot of missiles in the air. Drones in the air parked waiting to be called upon to be used. Pre-programmed. Like, get ready for war. Get ready for the old JDAMs when they became a thing as to where I'd heard about them. And it were like, how to make an army surplus bomb worth about 800 quid into a perfectly accurate glide weapon with a kit that costs about something like 30 quid to manufacture to turn it into a long-range laser-guided bomb with the newest technology. So they were taking these old free-fall bombs that were left behind and modifying them and turning them into a fucking deadly weapon where you launch them at the right calculated advanced mathematics and computers. They can send a glider bomb from miles and miles away and have it just a completely predictable, like, what's it called? The dynamics dropping a consistent thing are extremely predictable. There's a terminal velocity of how fast something of that mass can travel and things like that, as to where they can be 20 and 30 miles away with a JDAM, and the glider is based on how fast the fighter's flying. So it's just maths. And suddenly you've got what was a free fall bomb free falling on you silently from fucking miles away. Free fall bomb glider, JDAM's bomb. It's like, yeah, good luck. Good luck shooting that down after you've had, once it's been identified. It doesn't fly like a missile. Good luck. It's like, what a fucking horrendous weapon that's the Americans. What a horrible weapon they've improvised. They're good at that. Militaries are good at that. It's like the king of the desert, if you're on, for kind of trouble patrol, is probably still that Spectre gunship. That Hercules transport plane turned into a flying big gun weapons platform with all the fucking countermeasures in the world, all the fucking cameras in the world, all the microphones in the world. Everything you need to do the job of spying or patrol, escort, and backed up with howitzers. Gunship. Proper gunship. It's like, well, that's an improvised technology, and against people who haven't got the proper equipment to destroy one, like specifically, is unbeatable. You might have like the shoulder launch missiles to potentially shoot it down, but they're going to see you a lot sooner than you're going to see them. Like the fucking optics on the thing and the number of sets of eyes. It's like, yeah, improvising weapons of war. It's like, well, the Israelis have proven themselves to be the fucking masters of that. They take a weapons platform off another country and then upgrade it. So it's no longer No, well, it's not the same thing anymore. It's a hybrid. The base unit may have been one of these, but it's now certainly something different. So it's like Israeli research and development in high-tech weapons, best in the world. They were given a hell of an incentive. It's been a fun war, but right through it, I've been like, it ends like this. And it's been about Israel will they will ruthlessly destroy everything that's put up against them, and I already have a plan for how to do so, worked out, serious, committed. Once you, it was like any stage, if you want to unleash that thing, it's like they've been limited over the years by being a little bit more bothered about what other people in the world say. But that war broke out in Biden's time, making it so a massive Israeli counter offensive was just allowed, wasn't it? You get it, even the smartest and most moderate people in the world on October 7th were like Jordan Peterson, like he was tweeting Netanyahu, go and fucking get him. I don't think any country in the history of the world has had a greater moral imperative to go to absolute total war than fucking Israel on the 7th of October. None, can't think of any. I'm not one for aggression like that, military, but it's a matter of, now this is it. This is the one. You've had it. Once they reach for the old boss is like, nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Seriously. There's a certain level where the consciousness of the entity, and it's like there's a lot of solidarity in Israel and a lot of fucking know-how, and they've been studying their enemies for as long as they've been enemies. It's like they were prepared. It's like, are you really ready for war with us? Do you really need to see what we're capable of? It's like we've got this. While you were fast asleep in secret, we were building the. When you were building your war machine to destroy us, we were building a weapon system to counter it, and it worked. War's over. And you know something? I knew the war was over in that small attack. There was actually a warm-up attack about 18 months before October the 7th, which was aborted because of the existence of the Iron Dome. Now, when that Iron Dome system, the world got to see it, it'd be a matter of, well, you can obviously defeat that, can't you? Overwork it. You just need more missiles. You need more missiles, and you need to just use anything that it considers a threat and just pummel it. So they sent so many thousand rockets at it. The nominal number of them got through and did small amounts of damage. So they're like, right, well, the next time we do this, we need to hit it higher. Because at a certain level, Iron Dome does become Iron Tomb. Once it's overwhelmed, every shot counts. So you just need to accomplish your destruction of Israel with long-range fucking missiles from the sky, which is in your plan. It's like, you guys are artillery armies. You've made yourself missile armies. What kind of an army have you got? It's a missile army. Okay, missile army. You've built missile armies, and the counter to missile armies has made them obsolete weapons. Weapons that aren't worth firing anymore because of how many you fucking lose. It's like, now what? All they've been working on is that tech for years, thinking that eventually we'll have enough missiles to destroy anything. Okay. So October 7, there was an attempt to overwhelm the Iron Dome with an even bigger missile attack. How did it fare? It didn't have any effect really at all. Very interesting sight to see for the people. A decidedly non-deadly, let's try and overload the system attack. And then it's like they didn't really understand what they were up against. How sophisticated an AI could be nowadays. When you think of the tech where we've got now, it's like AIs have been in existence in military applications for a long time. Very sophisticated, but the missions are a lot simpler. Basically, they can react to, they can basically, I shouldn't have gone down this. I'm going to have to explain. I don't want to explain how much better a computer is at monitoring and looking for things on active screens than a human is. You've got a limitation of you've got just two eyes. Military systems they account for man eyes. They don't need fucking rooms of people monitoring screens and things like that. Always been in there to a certain degree. Military weapons in software, guidance systems. But it's like, as the tech gets better and organises it, suddenly it's a matter of, Iron Dome is a mixture of every countermeasure, every mounted countermeasure available that the Israeli military has, that can shoot a weapon down, that can shoot a missile down. So they've got batteries everywhere, mobile batteries on vehicles, and they're moved around, serviced, reloaded, whatever. And when the system detects an incoming object, it selects the appropriate weapon that's needed to shoot it down, whether it be close by or whether it be high altitude. So it makes a distinction and it uses its arsenal as efficiently as it possibly can. And it's automated. It's like the only way you could defeat it would be to destroy the mechanisms of control. It's like, good luck with that. Where would you even fucking start taking something like that down? Bet your ass it'd have like hardened communications, and it wouldn't be a question of that you could capture one of the units and fucking find out all the secrets of defeating it. No, I don't think that'd be there. So like they were done. Well, they should have actually negotiated and aborted the notion of the great one day will rise up and destroy Israel, because we've seen that. They tried it and they've lost. They should have realised they'd lost the first time they encountered the Iron Dome. They saved a lot of lives. But they didn't, did they? They had to go for it. They had to try. And at the same time, completely betray their allies in the Western world who still haven't really took on the gravity of what's happened, as to where Hamas, people who you give the benefit of the doubt to, people in this wider game who you'd ostensibly support, they did a tremendously evil thing on that day. And the truth of it is, most of the Hamas fighters lived that day, but the scumbag criminals and fucking rapists and looters and thieves that went and did all that fucking harm, appears they were militias. The Hamas guys brought back hostages, returned to base, but them fucking marauders, they just went for it and were hunted down like criminals, which is in essence what they actually were. No one's got anything to say about that, and that'd be absolutely fucking disgusting, as to say these were civilian citizens. These guys weren't trained sort of cadre, mercenary, fanatic, paid soldiers. These were people who turned up to get some for themselves. Now, when you know that the way that it's in essence been, the place has been bombed like a fucking I don't know, some kind of infestation, if you like. You go as far as that. It's like, what are the limits of war? It's like in this situation, it's like Hamas and the people, they crossed it a long time ago. They don't give a fuck about that. Never did. And as much as they've been pressed, as much as they've been herded, they've never in any time in my lifetime ever shown any consideration or cooperate or attempted any kind of cooperation with the Israelis. And they're not dicks, and they're not playing games. It's like the fucking mind games stop now. All the threats stop now. The endless shit we have with these settlement wars, but as a matter of, you guys are just Indian givers. It's like the land gets sold because there's property rights, and then suddenly it's been stolen. Like, over and over again, every fucking time. Palestinians are being cleared out of Jerusalem. No, it's like you keep selling up. No one's stealing anything from anybody. They bought every fucking last bit of property. But suddenly it's our land that's been stolen. It's like, you have to go back a long way to find out where land's been seized in conflict, in war. Whereas the notions of they stole our territory, it's like there was a war and they took it. Because that's what the world is. It's like, just go on, pile another load of shit on top of it. Make it even more complicated. Make the intentions of, say, the Israelis. I make no apology for the way that Israel have gone about the war, understanding how seriously they're taking it, or have taken it. Make no apology for it. It's like, yeah, they're going to do that. I was straight up at the start, and my message, which was the right one, two people I'd found myself allied with, the likes of Galloway was, don't get your people out in the street. Don't whip up a crowd. Don't whip up a storm. Use your mind. Use your fucking sense. And use your influence on the Arab and Muslim world to reach out to Hamas to surrender. Now. Surrender now. I didn't get enough flack for that at the time, but I was Ben Shapiro picked up on what to say. He's a shill for Israel. Well, I was at it on the day before him. Surrender. You have to surrender. Anyone out in the world who really cares about the Palestinian people needs to be telling Hamas to immediately surrender, because what they're about to unleash is going to be something for the fucking ages. It's like they're using the old words, they're using the old words, and with all that bloodletting, the old boss is listening. And what's the old boss's policy where it comes to total war? And it's somewhere along the line of, wipe them out, all of them, every man, woman, and child. Rub them from the fucking universe. That's how it is, right? That's what it is. Oh, you want to do war, do you? Are you ready for war? You seem to be quite keen on war. Do you fancy some modern warfare? Did my best, pleaded from my living room, shouted it out to the world. Surrender. This is going to be really, really bad for your people. And I mean, this can go anywhere. Surrender. You might get to keep the place. I mean, I meant it. And I'm like, this is what's going to happen. I could be a dick, go back to my old videos on this topic and do the, let's go through what this guy had to say and be seen to be blow for blow correct as to how this war was going to turn out. Absolutely right. And it's like, how did you know, John? Because of the forces that were unleashed by the bloodletting. The forces unleashed by the bloodletting deserved an answer, and it was answered. Israel having turned out to be an absolutely fucking terrifying opponent to fight a war against. No answer to them. They've defeated, suppressed all of their neighbours and haven't suffered a single defeat. Israel has not won or lost a single battle in this war. And this has been a war, proper war since then. Full-on war. They haven't suffered a single defeat. You go and you'll not find, it's hard to find actually what you would call accurate, because nobody believes anyone. Accurate figures of Israeli losses, but they're not what you'd expect for a country that's been at war for the best part of 3 years. They're not. They're ridiculously low. They're not playing. Every plan that Hamas had to draw the Israeli, because that was part of the overall plan, they were willing to fight. They were willing to fight over that place until it looks like it does now, and they did. But they were never. Israeli troops were never dragged into a fucking ambush. They were never dragged. They were never attacked from cover by anything they couldn't fucking deal with. It's like they looked at the field and just destroyed this. The way you win at modern warfare, and this is what they signed up for. If they'd have asked the Iraqis what it's like to go to war nowadays, you know, they might have told them. So how's war done these days? Well, it looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. What do you mean? Well, we tell the people that we're coming, and then we blow the place to fucking bits. Why do you blow it to bits? To deny cover to the enemy. This is a strategic, definite you have to do. If there's a big, strong, tough old building that they can use as a to turn it into a fortress and use it as an ambush, we'll just destroy it. So destroy all the cover. That's why you look at Gaza and it looks just fucking just bombed out to fuck, because the kind of warfare that Hamas wanted to fight, that's the only safe way to counter it without taking lots of fucking losses. Right? Who learned this first? The Russians. You can go and watch film of Russian tank units getting cut to pieces in Chechnya. Right? Cut to fucking pieces. Well, the vehicles escaped, but a lot of the personnel were cut to shit, died, ambushed, shot from buildings. Happened once where they took a buffeting. And happened since. What happens now? Well, since then, the way of dealing with urban combat insurgency, it's not battlefield free. It's shell the place to fucking bits. No, they won't be killing us now, will they? Get the fuck out. Run. Leave your shit behind. Get the fuck out of here. We're blowing it to fucking bits. Bang, 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 bang. And they'll do it in the cheapest way they possibly can. They'll shell it. It's like, look at a picture of Gaza. It's like, yeah, it's been shelled to fuck. And done as cheaply as possible. And every weapon they've got that were ready to drop has been dropped. As soon as they've had them, they've dropped them. Everything. To level the place. Why? So it can't be used as cover. Because the only war you're willing to fight is one where you can bring us onto you and ambush you. So we're going to just move from place to place and destroy all the cover. And it's like, you wanted this to Hamas. I was like that all the way through this war with that Hamas shit. You wanted this. This is what you signed up for. This is exactly what you signed up for when you ordered that attack on 7th of October. Exactly what you ordered. You wanted this. This is what you asked for. And if you think that the IDF are going to get in a gunfight with you, where numbers might do you some good, because obviously Hamas have got miles more active soldiers than Israel. Can you believe that? True. Miles more soldiers. If it gets into a war with guys shooting at each other, Israel have got a chance of fucking losing that war. So we're not having that fight. We refuse to fight you the way you want us to fight you. And we're just going to pummel you from fucking miles away and you can't counter us. We can be as brave as we like. You have one of these bang, 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 bang. I made it clear back then that that was the only war that was being offered. The only battle that was being offered in that war was one where you don't get to shoot back. Fuck you. You deserve no consideration. Spelled it all out. This is what's going to happen. Surrender. This is what you're going to... If you out in the world are going to be... What you're going to do to protest this? And they start mithering the government, British government, and it's Starmer time, and it's... Well, what would you do anyway? What does it matter what you think? No one gives a fuck about you. You think the Israelis give a fuck about what Keir Starmer might have to say? Do you think they give a single fuck about what the British might do to them? I wouldn't, and neither do they. But you've got half this country whipped up in arms, becoming politically organised and affiliated, networking through all these fucking turning up for all these rallies and protests, and it's like, and imagining that they've not become legion and all networked one way or another. You brought them out into the streets, and when they got out in the streets, they had a great big jolly every week and all turned up. And you think those fucking people, now organised and legion, are going to go away? It's like, no. War in the Middle East has caused, and it's ridiculous that it should. These people are from Pakistan, right? It's nothing to do with them. They've got no history, no dog in this fight, but they've been whipped up over the years with all these tales of terrible Jews, terrible Jews, terrible Jews, terrible Jews, terrible Jews. And they see it as simple as that. And seeing it as simple as that, they've been unified. Seeing it as simple as that. So I see that great big blob that decided my Green Party. Now, watch for Zach, what's his face? I can't even get his name right. Blansky. It's not his real name. It's a stage name he's given himself. He is a former psychic con man. Exactly the kind of person that I'm always vigilantly on the lookout for. I hate the psychic grifter. The psychic grifter can sit there and say, I know something you don't. They're the worst fucking people in the world, and people who for years would love to get themselves in a position where they could fantasize about maybe forming a new fucking government and making the world a better place, as to what a dangerous fantasist he is. He was telling people he could make their breasts bigger with the power of his mind, and at the time, expected to be treated as being credible. But a name change and suddenly reinventing oneself as a politician, having nothing anyone can find out about this guy other than the fact that he used to be a apparently self-confessed miracle worker. What's happening here? I think you're seeing here there's a possibility, a strong possibility. Within that Green Party, you will find manifestations of crazy, narcissistic, fucking magical thinking, wizard, spell casting bastards who will be seeing a fucking angle here for a potential to take the country like they always fantasize about doing. And this kind of ideation, the state of this country, we do not need a load of really dangerous fantasists to get involved in politics. And we certainly don't need some kind of rushed election that might make it so we end up with people who are things like self-professed witches in Parliament, when the Labour Party's death heralds all of their fucking dumbass voters who've got something to gain from wokeism. You know, people who, they're not woke crazy, but they see that there's an advantage to political correctness that they can exploit, so they'd like to keep it going. The Green Party has become their home. Along those lines, we all know why people vote for these lefty parties. It's to get their imaginary force fields recharged. Yeah? To understand they'll be protected. To understand they'll get to still be a protected group in society. That's what the Green Party has opened up. And we are in a country where recently our Prime Minister, right, made an apology to modern day witches for the way that witches were treated in history. I repeat, someone must have lobbied for that. That political presence exists. Where is it going to find a home? Where would it manifest itself? Green Party. You've got a massive, massive problem coming here as to where, depending how the threat of the Green Party and the understanding of how the block vote works, right? Without that, we are doomed to be defeated in the coming council elections. And we're having a situation as to where the combined forces of the left, like this configuration, is the doom of the emerging right, because the emerging right cannot unify and find common cause with anyone at all. But in the mission of saving the world from racists, the left are able to unify with a single purpose: stop them. So they're going to win. The Labour and its acolytes will seamlessly jump ship to the Green Party and be even more fucking radical, even more lazy, even more idealistic, fanatic, magical thinking. Green Party getting into power anywhere would be an absolute disaster for that place, bearing in mind the hearty psychopathic disposition of its people who go around saying namaste and pretending that everything's great. We've been trying to get rid of them, and we're going to get a lot more of them, but worse. Imagine, say there's people out there who are singing the praises of Zach Polanski. People like Carol Vorderman. Seriously, I can't fucking stand that woman. What a cow she is. She could come round here. She'd have to be around here a hell of a lot of time for me to want to start to fuck her. Whoa. Eventually you can get me by kind of osmosis, but she's not got that long to live, and neither have I. Fuck me. But what a shitty mess, and the shitty mess is made even shittier by Rupert fucking Lowe. Rupert fucking Lowe, with his mouth, having gone temporarily insane, having heard tale of many stories of working class atrocity, the things that mark the lives of the little people like me, the terrible things that happen to us along the way. Having been exposed to this reality, this man has lost. His rhetoric's become fantasy, and that's a fucking big problem. So it turns Rupert Lowe into a big problem. Why? Because he's dividing the right between practical people and fantasists. So he's appealing to the force that Mr. Lindsay would call the woke right, who are nuts and bolts, the same kind of people as the left, but on a different side. The kind of people who are not getting the bribe of protected status in society. But the same creatures that, if they had protected status in society, would abuse it too. And there's a lot of people on the right like that. Now he's split them. So you can see people who offer like an alternative tyranny, thinking they're better than everyone else, right? Flock immediately to that banner of let's deport everyone we think might have known. And that be an argument I can sit here for an hour taking apart as to why it's the most ridiculous thing I've heard said in years. And how it actually has Nazi overtones that these guys aren't actually smart enough to realise. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said it. You would need to create a thought police and throw every law that we've got that's worth anything out of the window in order to start deciding what people did and didn't know, and then stripping them of their property and deporting them. With no country left. You turn the country into Nazi Germany. Literally. You turn the country into Nazi Germany. You've created the laws that enabled the final solution, because the final solution wasn't the first solution. The first solution was deportation, and the final solution was the final solution. And Rupert doesn't see that parallel when he would need to recruit an army of psychic cops that have powers that don't exist to find people who knew and didn't say. So when he says that, I go, yeah, he's a fantasist. He might know a thing or two about farming, but he's a fantasist. And it's like, okay, it's like, so in his way, he becomes a less dangerous than Zach Polanski, but a massive fly in the ointment for no good reason other than personal differences with other members of Reform who are themselves cunts, right? But cunts moving in the right direction. Guys like Lee Anderson. I don't think he's such a bad, bitter fuck. I don't think. See, I don't underestimate people in how ruthless they can be. But it's like the wrong way rubbing up between Rupert and Lee Anderson is that Lee Anderson's got more of an idea as to what it is to go out and work for a fucking living, and has likely still got that slight working class chip on his shoulder that he brought with him from being a Labour councillor. He's a Labour Party guy, union guy. He's got the same kind of he's got better credentials than Angela Rayner for being an MP, though, because he's actually worked a bit. But fundamentally, he is a placeholder. He is a just a big buffoon. When the final lineup comes into place, he's going to be far from power. He's just a current placeholder who's got a seat, able to hold his Conservative seat. But he was living in a dream world, or he's been pointed to being living in a dream world by the left many times. He's not so far out as they might think he is, because he's one of their own. They just notice the wrong things about people. But it's like the Ben Habib guy. Well, it's like, I quite like him, and as to why, it's like, well, he's got experience of life as to where he's lived in this country as actually literally a mixed race rich kid. He is a foreign elite. He's a foreign elite from Pakistan. But he's a different foreign elite than the foreign elite we've got running in the north of England. But I think he's got more of a sense of what Britain is with his experience of life, having grown up elsewhere. He's got more of a sense of, he's got more of the old statesman about him than just about anyone else. As to where, yeah, he is the guy you'd make your ambassador to America, something like that. There is a streak of pragmatism in him as to where most people like Ben Habib as a sort of moderate right-wing figure, a thinking man. He's all right. Why would you have alienated him? And it's like, well, he's a chip on his shoulder over not getting elected and feeling like he's been left on the sidelines. So what you've actually got is a power struggle. And it'd be a matter of your best bet to win is a kind of Farage combination, right? And your best, I'd say, what's the word? Source of ammunition is like Braverman, Jenrick. They can walk straight out of the last government saying, look, we know where we went wrong. What do you think of this? I always thought Braverman were on the right lines as a Home Secretary. I think she actually tried. She's on the side of writer. She knows she's on the good team. And people go, well, they've taken her on. She's a Tory. It's like, yeah, if you were ever going to find a good politician in this country, someone who's decent to have around, someone who's moderate and thoughtful and listened, pays attention, realistic. If there is a good one, you'll find them in the Conservative Party. It's weird, say Rajamia reckons there's about 15 good ones. Raja reckons in the Tory Party that you'd want in any government. I reckon there's 12. That's what sort of number you're looking at. There ain't that many. A lot of them are shit jumpers, wanted to be MPs, much like the Labour guys. That's why they behave just like Labour in fucking government. But if you're going to find Conservatives, them's what you want, real ones, proper ones. If you want proper Conservatives, the only place to find them is the Conservative Party, and that's what we need. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We need Conservatives, and the Conservative Party has some. You'll end up with additions like she used to be a tiresome bitch, didn't she? But she's learned a bit. Another one who became an MP in order to learn about politics, be Esther McVeigh. She's not a useless politician. She'll join one of these splinter parties. She's not useless. There's a few of them not useless. As say, would be good enough to form any government. There's not a single member of that fucking Labour Party who's worth keeping, though. None of them. They're all cunts. Sorry to say that, but that tight bubble you have to think inside of, where you ignore everything beyond your control that they all have going on, and that knee-jerk reach for the political correctness points to me as them being indoctrinated, brainwashed fucking idiots who've been selected in the first instance because people like the cut of their jib. And it's like, I like her, she reminds me of me when I was that age. That kind of familiarity recruitment thing. As to where dumbasses have got a real eye for their own fucking kind. And Labour's been unchallenged and able to use just slurs, just to campaign on race and foreign affairs in local elections. The tools are now available to fucking crush them for that. And people don't want to cooperate. It's like Rupert Lowe is trying to get a mandate for a fucking ridiculous idea. And Nigel Farage is being called wrong for saying, no, we need to accept that this Muslim population of this country ain't going anywhere, mostly. All the illegals can go. All the criminal with dual citizenship, yeah, they can go. They can all go. And everybody agrees on that. But getting a government to do it's been a problem. But everyone agrees on that, and that's what we're after. And do you know what all that is? And that's a thing. Yeah? This country's got loads of issues. Right? But that's accentuating them. Right? So it's like turning the tap off. And once you've turned the tap off, then you get to find out how fucked your house is. Water has a habit of getting everywhere and doing things sometimes you wouldn't expect it to do, finding its way into places where you'd never think it might go. And once you've turned off the tap, you've got a chance of finding out just how fucking deep it is. Just how fucked the house is. But we're only talking about turning off the tap. And that's what we should be doing. We should concentrate as to say, regardless of what happens here, the tap gets turned the fuck off. The Navy starts turning people back, and when that becomes a problem for France to solve, you'll see it get solved, I'll tell you. It will. So make it a problem for French to solve. Say, fuck this. No, you're allowing, you're in essence fucking aiding and abetting a fucking criminal act of fucking entering this country. It's like you're not doing anything real to stop it. And we're paying you to stop it, so we're just not taking any more. We're just going to send them back to you. It's like, yeah, we have to rescue them because of fucking Admiralty law or something else that gets exploited. But we're just bringing them straight back to France where they fucking came from. Dumping them right on the fucking beach. Get back. Do that a few times. They stop coming because why would you come? It's not easy. It's not hard to create disincentives. A change in policy that was made public would be a big enough disincentive to stop loads of them people who come in like that. But then you've also got it where we've got the overstayers of visas and shit like that in this country. There's fucking loads of them. It's like, well, we've got things about them written down. That's something. Deal with that problem fucking next. First of all, stop all the fucking illegals coming in. And the ones in the hotels, send them the fuck back. We in our way, we can definitely sort out the wheat from the chaff as to who of those people has a genuine story and who's and then even pick out the ones of them that are economic migrants, but economic migrants with a very high value as to where, oh, you might have got in legally if you'd have tried. Might we give you a chance? And let's say, like maybe 5% of them, but don't do it as to, well, 5 get to stay, do it. No, if we find someone here amongst these guys who is really, really feasible, let them have a chance. I don't care in that regard. But if you do get a rocket scientist in amongst them, 1 in a million, let him stay. Or open a fast track for him to apply properly, but without pushing someone further down a list. It's people fucking desperate to get into this country who've got money, means, would come here and buy a house, and they'd love to come here and they're not allowed in. To legally emigrate to this country, you have to jump some real fucking hurdle fences to get in. But you can actually also just jump on a fucking rubber dinghy or swim it if you've got the ability or the gumption. That's something that's come up on my nephew's radar, who's become an athlete. He fancies having a bash of swimming channel. So it's handy for going abroad. I always would joke about him. He's just like be handy for going on holiday. Just slip in and out of the country, couldn't he? Just worry about if you can carry, if you fit so you can carry a little bit of cargo, you might be able to smuggle some gear in or something. I don't mean drugs. I mean, some clothes to wear on the other side, like James Bond. And you can just go to France, get on a bus, and you've just entered the country. You've entered Europe into the Eurozone and can start just crossing anywhere you like. Like swimming. It's like swimming's like real stealth, isn't it? They ain't picking you up on fucking radar if you swim at channel. Swim the channel. Cheap holidays. But you have to buy yourself clothes every day. I'm thinking of plenty of reasons why not to do it now, but as a joke, I think it's funny. Although the nephew can run marathon distances, so I keep joking about that we need to start a business. We use him as a kind of van, as a delivery runner. But I was always one of the top jokes that when somebody asks a stupid question, how do they get car parts from Belgium to England to deliver to us tomorrow by like 9 a.m? How does that happen? And I was just being a kid. Obviously, it goes on a plane. I was being a kid, and Bill says, they've got a swimmer. As soon as he said it, I knew I was fucked. I thought, you just asked the stupidest question. I'm only 17. But he always tickled me, that swimmer. Yeah, they've got a really good swimmer. I've lived quite a while and answered a lot of stupid questions, but I've never actually come across a question as stupid as the one I give Bill, that invented the commercial swimmer. I've never been able to reuse that joke ever. No one's ever been as stupid as I was when I'm fucking 17. Nobody. But, you know, your senses are dulled when you're fucking probably hungover. You know, there's always room for an excuse, but no, there isn't, is there? Dumbass. Anyway, good night to y'all. I hope I've not hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that, but I think we've found ourselves as a country and a world in a situation where dialogue is absolutely vital at this time for the sake of all of us, and also at the same time almost impossible. I'm willing to negotiate, but I only come with me. What am I signed up for at minute? Politically, in the background. Workers' Party. George Galloway might have blocked me and decided that I'm a bad person or something, but I still talk to his mates. Same time. It's like, Reform Party in Rochdale, I am absolutely not impressed with them by way of a force for, local government. It's like, they are a piece of shit. I wonder who they're going to fucking put forward. We've got a few amongst them who I've got some respect for, but I don't know any of them. And the way that they've been recently putting the word out, it's just been divisive. In essence, trying to play Labour Party games, or being played by the Labour Party and getting dragged into games by them, as to where you just rubbish. It's like, if you can't deflect that, if you can't answer that, you got the wrong attitude towards trying to beat the Labour Party when you should be speaking the language of political revolution, which will take alliances and sacrifices and might mean you actually go into coalition. Because I'll tell you something, in Rochdale, where Reform and the Workers' Party actually have identical policies in Rochdale for the local level. Identical. The only difference is the old solidarity with Gaza. It's the only difference between the two sides. The party that George Galloway leads doesn't stand a fucking moment for political correctness or the old European Court of Human Rights shit. It wants it all gone, and it wants the criminals and the illegals deported. The platform, the Workers' Party platform in Rochdale is identical to the Reform Party message in Rochdale. It's the same. And the big players in Reform, or the big player in Reform, who's Lambert, has been friends with the leader of the Workers' Party for about the last 30 years, 20 years, 25 years. They work together, they've known each other for a very long time, and they both appear to be the right stuff. They're just straight up people. Not rich people, not people who fill the pockets, not people who've done well out of it. The people who, engaged with it and got stuck in and were eventually removed in a coup by a guy and his gay friend. Big fat guy and his gay friend. The big fat guy was into kids, his big gay friend's into that, older lads. There's been a coup, and since we had that coup in this town, our council, it tells us what it's doing, it doesn't ask what we want. They'd put out a consultation and have fucking 500 people come forward as to why something's a bad idea. And they'll still do it, having considered the consultation. It doesn't matter, they do whatever they want. Ever since the last few of the sensible ones were done away with and replaced with fucking just bullying fucking idiots. It's the whole thing's been a black box. There's no democracy here. So while there's no democracy here, we shouldn't treat it like there is. Should fucking join up and get rid of them. Be Rochdalians. Join up and get rid of them. And that might mean making some compromises, but none of them will be painful. They'll all be for the better. A lot of know-how in these little parties because of there's no one, the only people in this town for my lifetime who've ever been in office anyway are Labour or Lib Dem. There's never been a Conservative with any power in this town, never. They're all that. So the know-how and the inside game, the only people who've got it are the people who've been former councillors. And the former councillors available, what have they all got in common? Oh, they were all completely betrayed by the Labour Party, had the rug pulled from under them, were criminalised for hate speech and the like, and done away with. So give me people who've got that beef against them and put them against them. Because the job is to get the fuck rid of them. We can worry about the rest of it after. I'm not usually someone for that saying, oh, well, fuck the repercussions. But in this situation, yeah, fuck them. Fuck the repercussions. Get rid of the Labour Party. Just don't replace them with Greens. The only way you can beat them is to be united against the Green, because it's just a jumping off point. It's just a jumping off point for everyone who gets the protection of the Labour Party. And what a fucking tent of cunts they are. They're completely the wrong people to be in charge of anything at all. But I can see, I can see now that I couldn't see before now it's been demonstrated twice how the Muslim vote will just jump straight on the party that gives it privilege. I got a bad feeling about this. Something worse is coming because of it. I'm freaked out a little bit. That's why I'm talking like this about it. Anyone, any party, big tent, come and vote for us, come and join us. Already all the fucking LGBTQP plus crackpots and all them fucking lot have abandoned the Labour Party and are now on the winning team. Even when they lose, they win. People who were ardent Labour, save us, right? They're now Green Party and calling themselves winners. It's like, what will a bit of success do to the minds of those fucking green crackpots? Well, it'll enable them, won't it? Expect more fucking nonsense.